Like Dan said, I'm a lead maintainer on Argo CD. I'm a staff software engineer at Intuit, and I just want to share what's happened in the Argo CD world in the past year. So I'm also a fan of GitHub stars. We've seen 17% growth in Argo CD year over year, and it just kind of shows the sticking and staying power that Argo CD has, and that it continues to meet the needs of all of our users in new ways. We've had 1,700 commits, which is honestly just kind of a bonkers number. That's like 4 commits a day. Argo CD is just an incredibly active repo. 165 of those commits have been new features. And I really like that number because when I gave this update at the last KubeCon, it was like 120 new features. So this last year has been one that's had a lot of really new, interesting stuff come in. 390 plus bug fixes, 88 releases, making sure that we get all of those security updates patched out for you. It's been a very busy year. And I want to highlight just a little bit more some of the maintainers who have been coming up. And I want to pause. Who here considers themselves not a maintainer, but a contributor to Argo CD? Show of hands. Okay. Who here has opened an issue, commented on an issue, opened a PR, commented on a PR, or talked in the Argo CD Slack? Any of those things? Okay. That's more hands. You all are contributors too, and you all are on a path that you could totally move into our maintainer ladder and become something like these new reviewers. So these are folks who review pull requests for you. They've created 137 pull requests and reviewed 301 in the past year. So these 5 people have just done an incredible amount of work. And at the last KubeCon, we had a lot of new approvers, people who could merge pull requests. I'm really excited to have so many new reviewers because they're on that stepping ladder on their way to becoming the people who make sure that the things you all need to get your jobs done make it into Argo CD ASAP. And speaking of approvers, I had to show this because these numbers are honestly just incredible. These 3 people in the last year alone, this isn't counting all their contributions, this is 2025. 167 PRs created, 1,098 PR reviews, and they've merged 426 PRs. That merge, yes, thank you. That number of PRs merged is even more impressive when you realize we have a sort of laddered approver system. So as you go from being a reviewer to an approver, you can be an approver for a subset of the project. And Nitish takes care of docs and, as of Thursday, now CLI pull requests. So even in just that narrow scope, he's able to merge a lot of pull requests and get things moving. And that's just a way on the path to become a full-on Argo CD approver. So what has that maintainership turned into? In the last year, we have seen 25% more pull requests open. So folks are even more active from the community. And we've done a good job of holding our own in terms of getting those PRs merged. We do want to increase the number of those that we can get in, though, and that was a big goal as of last KubeCon. And we've made a lot of progress. We've significantly decreased the amount of time it takes to get a first review onto a pull request, and honestly kind of drastically reduced the amount of time it takes on average to get a pull request merged. So that's great in part, in great part due to the maintainers you just saw, but also I think I highlighted a total of 8 contributors. We have a total of 36 maintainers on Argo CD, so they make these numbers possible. Let's talk about new features. So in the last year, we've added OCI support, which unlocks a ton of use cases where you have like highly regulated industries or compliance reasons where you can't use Helm or Git. Now you can pull manifests from OCI. We added Source Hydrator, which is an implementation of the rendered manifest pattern, which has been incredibly popular. And we've added Shallow Clone. People find that Argo CD can struggle when they have mono repos that have tons and tons of commits. And I think last week this got merged. So Shallow Clone coming in 3.3 is going to make your mono repo life much, much easier. On the front end, we've added a few really cool features. One is a UI for progressive syncs. So that's the thing that you see at the top right. You get a little toolbar item that shows where your application is in the progressive sync process. This is a feature of application sets that just basically syncs pull requests or syncs applications for you in order. Progressive syncs also just went from alpha state to beta state. So if you've been hesitant to adopt the feature, hopefully that provides a little bit more confidence to go ahead and pick it up. We added parameterized actions. That's what you see an example of at the bottom right. So now you can set from the UI the scale of a deployment and also just write in the number of replicas you want. Scale is one example of how this can be used. I really, really love this feature because part of what makes Argo CD powerful is that the UI lets you step out of GitOps a little bit if you really need to. You can do things manually in break glass scenarios or just when you're experimenting. And this provides a way for developer platforms like Intuit's to provide ways for developers to do small tasks via the UI and providing input. So definitely go give that feature a try. And then finally, CLI plugins, a way to move new CLI features into the upstream repo, but starting out with experimentation that doesn't have to go through the entire Argo CD review process. Looking into the future, I wanted to highlight 3 new features that are coming up. First is first-class application set UI support. So this is going to be a huge architectural undertaking. It's a lot of work to make changes that deep in the Argo CD code base and in the UI. But it's really exciting because 66%, I think, of Argo CD users use application sets. And we want to make it as easy to use an application set as it is to use an application. So that may take a while for us to get done. It may be next KubeCon before we're talking about having it merged, but it's going to be a really awesome feature. More short term, we've got the ability to allow and disallow cluster scope resources by name in app projects. This seems really nitpicky and technical, but this is a really cool feature. If you have teams that need to self-serve namespaces on a cluster, in the past, there's been no way to give them access to just their namespaces. You'd have to give them the ability to delete kube system, which most people are not willing to do for their multi-tenant clusters. This lets you say you only get to access your namespaces. The same goes for CRDs. At Intuit, we have a team that manages our Argo workflows installations. This would give us a way to say you can install and manage the Argo workflows CRDs, but no other CRDs. So very behind the scenes stuff, but this is really powerful and is going to make a huge difference for the multi-tenant cluster story. And then finally, to Source Hydrator, we're adding the ability to write parameters inline. Right now, you have to put all of your parameters into Git. This will let you set stuff directly in the Argo CD application CR to get a nice balance between that GitOps and more pragmatic use of the rendered manifest pattern. And that's all I've got for Argo CD. Thank you so much, and I'll pass it off to Mason Malone to talk about Argo workflows.